Dude, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Booz and Broz podcast, where hosts Matt Lytle and Chris Califf discuss everything paranormal, cryptic, horror, true crime, and of course, booze. So grab your favorite beverage and come have a drink with the Booz and Broz.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Booz and Bros podcast, episode 12, part 2 of the Winter Kills installment. I am one of your hosts, Matt Lytle. No, I won't ever change my name, but my partner is...
Califf. Had y'all in suspense for a second. And then just went the right way with it.
Dude, you never know what's going to come out of Califf's mouth.
Or what's going to go in Matt's. You know, it's life.
Why did I know that's what you were going to say?
Because it's us, man. Like, we've been doing this for so long that it's kind of just what it is.
It's just like, whatever. Like, I'll be honest with you real quick. Before we get started with everything, I did actually watch like the first 10 minutes of episode 1. And I watched before we even started. Well, we recorded, but before we actually started going. It is so funny how nervous, not really nervous, but how like, I don't know the right word, but because we were prepared, so we weren't lost, but I guess you could say nervous. We were a little nervous.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting there talking like, oh, this is it. I don't know. It was funny to see. And now we're just like, oh, fuck everyone. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's great because you can see the transition in my facial hair through the entirety of the first 11 episodes. Like, there's like
That's
a complete
so true.
It's never the same, I think, for any 2 episodes. So it's kind of a cool thing to look back on.
Every single one. And because you had like you were shaved right here on the chin,
Lemmy,
and then you had the
Lemmy,
beard.
brother.
Yeah, that's right. And then you have like this, and then you have the full beard, because on my editing, like all of the footage of our podcasts are all in the same, like in the library. So you can literally see you like one by one. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But I like this beard. Speaking of beard, I want to talk about your look again. Are you ever going to do a podcast without a hat?
I've done one without a hat, and that would be the one where I had pneumonia. So I think it was Halloween.
Oh, was it Halloween? Because you wore the mask and then you took the mask off.
I probably put a hat on after I put the mask on.
I feel like you did.
But would it make you feel better if I took off the hat, Matt, and I did a podcast without the hat? Would that make you feel good?
I think yes, and I think next episode you should do that. Don't take it off right now.
No.
Why?
No. Drum roll, please, Matt. May I get a drum roll?
Okay.
Bam.
There's no
there
hair.
You go. There's no hair. I can't grow it, bro.
Oh, I love it.
Grow it.
Dude, it looks great with the red sweatshirt too.
Right.
Speaking of looks, speaking of what you're wearing, what I'm wearing.
You are.
Who are we talking about tonight?
Time out.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about what you're wearing real quick, brother. Let's have this small discussion, right? Because we discussed the fact that, I'm bald. Oh. But let's discuss the fucking Jackson Pollock painting that sits in front of me. You look like,
I don't know. It's a new design.
You look like a sheet after a weekend bender in a dorm room.
Oh my gosh. Dude. I'm not the one. This was a gift from somebody very special to me, and I know she listens to this. So
she clearly wanted you to look like a cum rag. Like, I'm throwing that out there, bro. That's just what it is.
You might have just lost all her respect. I'm just kidding. She's probably gonna love you for that because I'm wearing it. And to be honest with you, it's a lot tighter than it was the first time. But
can you see the newbies, bro? Can you see the newbies?
I don't think you see the newbies. Okay, this is crazy because this is another example of how we don't even plan to go into what we're talking about. We are talking about who, Califf?
Wait, how are cum rags going into what we're talking about? You might have to.
Well, nipples.
You might have to hit this. Oh, nipples.
Wow. Well, or cum rags.
Like I'm pretty drunk. Yeah, have I drank
nipples, cum rags, stuff that we put on our bodies, which this man didn't put clothes on his bodies. He put something else on his body.
Is that a scene reference?
No. It is a meat suit.
Oh,
you're talking
about the one, the only, the infamous, the guy that started it all, another OG in his field, the one, the only Ed Gein. Oh, I'm stoked about this one, man.
Dude, just saying his name makes me want to puke.
It puckers my butt a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with you.
Not like it doesn't pucker my butt like the death of Benny P. That's still like, I mean, here we are now doing this next one, and Benny P's death is still like, I might have to get a memorial piece for Benny P. But tattoo wise. But this dude, this
that's our matching tattoo.
R.I.P. Benny P. Yeah. But yeah, like it's one of those things where this guy he's a savage. This is the epitome of mental health gone wrong. Like really, really, really wrong. Welcome, insert Ed Gein. 1950s. Matt, give me some Ed Gein facts, brother.
We do drink on this podcast. That's why all you guys watch it. Not for the serial killers, not for the ghosts, not for the witches, not for the Draculas and whatever. For the drinks. So, Ed Gein, I guess they have to know a little bit about Ed Gein, right? Let's just put it this way. He was in love with his mother, and he did creepy things when she died. That's all you need to know. We'll get more into it.
We'll get into it.
Look how disgusting mine looks, dude. Mine literally looks like blood.
Because you went ahead and did it the right way.
Almost the right way.
Do it. Yeah, I did not. Well, we don't have, what is it? What are they called? Cum squats?
Kumquats.
Cum squats. Got it. Cum squats. I feel like that's what happens after porn. Like, oh, where's the main actress at? Oh, she went to a cum squat. Like welcome back to Booz and Broz.
Haven't you taken a drink yet? Oh my God.
Right.
Okay.
To kumquats.
To kumquats. This drink is called Psycho, and I'll explain what's in it after this. Oh my God. Mine is strong as shit.
Delightful.
Okay. So what's in this this Psycho drink?
Dude, it's gonna be the kumquat. Like that's just what it's gonna be in this.
The kumquat. Our
kumquat.
Psycho drink is turned to kumquat. So we have whiskey, which it says to pour a shot of whiskey in it, but naturally I poured probably at least 2. Okay, so there's that. There's simple syrup. There's cranberry juice, clearly why it's red. And there's supposed to be raspberries that you muddle at the bottom. So it's like a mojito, but just Psycho. I didn't have any raspberries, so I just put maraschino cherries in it with some cherry juice, which is why it's like dark red blood. But it's whiskey too, so it's strong, but it's delicious. But didn't you make yours a little different, Califf?
I might have fucked that whole thing up. So we did whiskey last time. It was the Fireball whiskey, and at this point, never again. First off, Fireball, never the fuck again. I watched that, and I was like, first off, this is entertaining. But I was more drunk in that episode than I was in Werewolves and Vampires. You realize this, right?
Oh yeah. I think that was top 3 for you.
Yeah.
That was top 3 for you.
Mine, the kumquat, or the Psycho, or the Psycho. Or porn extras. I don't know. Anyway, I put Tito's in mine because, God damn it, Tito's for life.
Before we get to like how Ed Gein lived as a child and how he got into all this, I want to start off by painting a picture to our audience because I want them to understand how fucked up this guy is before we actually talk about him.
Is the painting going to be as awful as your shirt?
It'll be worse. Sweet.
The one who bought you that shirt, I see what you did there, and I appreciate it. Like, flex those guns, Maddie. Come on now.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We gotta get to business. I'm trying to talk about Ed Gein. So this man, and we'll talk about his history, blah, blah, blah. But basically, spoiler alert, the end of his reign happened when the police found out he did what he did and went into his farmhouse, which was in Plainfield, Wisconsin. This is what the police found. I'm going to name off everything they found, and then we'll get into the beginning. So it's kind of like a Star Wars. Start with the end, then go to the beginning. Okay, searching the house, the authorities found whole human bones and fragments. Okay. A wastebasket made of human skin. Okay. Human skin covering several chairs. Skulls on his bedposts. Female skulls, some with tops sawed off it. For bowls, he would like to eat a cereal out of it. I'm not even joking. Bowls made of human skulls. There you go. A corset made from a female torso, skinned from shoulders to waist, which is what he wore. Leggings made from human leg skin, which is what he wore. Masks made from the skin of female heads, which he wore. Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag. Mary Hogan, which we will get into that, was his second victim. Mary Hogan's skull in a box. Bernice Warden's entire head in a burlap sack, which was his first victim. Bernice Warden's heart in a plastic bag in front of Ed Gein's potbelly stove. All right, we're almost there.
Yeah.
9 vulvae in a shoebox, which vulvae is, Califf, your audio is fucking up.
Come here, I'll tell you.
I'm coming.
Come
What?
Here, come here. That's 9 pussies in a box.
So yeah, 9 vaginas in a box. He cut. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna read the rest of this, and then we get it. Okay.
Is it weird that I
this
kind
one
of have a
was gonna
semi? Is that weird?
Yeah. What is wrong with you?
Anyway,
I
you go.
really hope you're joking.
Maybe. You can only see one hand. bro.
Okay. You're weird, bro. You're fucking weird. A young girl's dress and the valves of 2 females judged to have been about 15 years old. A belt made from female human nipples.
You're goddamn right.
Who
Who doesn't need a nipple belt? Who doesn't need
a nipple belt? 4 noses, which is nothing compared to everything else. A pair of lips on a window shade drawstring. A lampshade made from skin of a human face. And fingernails from females. They were photographed and then sent to a laboratory to be, and I quote, decently disposed of. That is all the things that the police found in his house.
I'm still back on the box of boxes, man. Like,
yeah, all of that is greatly disturbing. But when the story goes, the sheriff,
what's wrong with a nipple belt? Tell me you don't realistically.
No, not a nipple belt. No, not a nipple belt. I mean, it's weird, but that's not like, it's like, oh, weird. But the box of 9 female vaginas, that's really fucked up.
Do you know how many people told me that when I die, they want to skin me of my tattoos and make lampshades of them?
You know what? If we weren't talking about Ed Gein right now, I'd be like, that's really fucked up. But that's actually like pretty minor.
Yeah. I mean, box of boxes, bro.
Oh, so,
dude,
what
it's
else?
A box of kumquats. It's a box of kumquats.
Box of kumquats.
Yep.
I can't even joke around with that box of kumquats.
You know,
9.
most time here at Booz and Bros, we do find ways to make terrible puns and jokes about this stuff. But the thing about this dude is the sheer enjoyment he got out of this. I mean, you think about the fact that his drawstring was a pair of lips. I mean, it brings a whole new definition. I'm gonna slap lips off your face. You know, I'm eating my cereal out of a human skull. That's metal. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's metal, right? You sit on your throne.
Metal. But when you're
fucking,
but when you're the one who either robbed that skull from its grave or killed the person whose skull that is, that's when it crosses the line. But yeah, any skull's metal. I mean,
but you know, like H.H. Holmes' mustache was kind of a redeeming quality for him.
Yeah, that thing could whoop your ass.
It's like it was basically like it's almost like Chuck Norris before he was born. Like Chuck Norris was born from H.H. Holmes' mustache, and Ed Gein was born from H.H. Holmes' nutsack.
Ed Gein was born from a box of 9 vaginas. Okay, so let's start talking about why this guy is the way he is. Born in 1906, he was born in La Crosse County, Wisconsin, which gets absolutely freezing during the winter. Just thought I'd add that in. Wisconsin, But 1906, yeah, so he was born, he had a father, he had a mother, obviously, and he had a brother who's a little older than him. So his mom's name was Augusta, and she's the only name that matters, although his brother's was Henry. They lived a brutal life. Remember last podcast episode, H.H. Holmes, when we talked about how he actually kind of lived an okay childhood? Yeah, his stepfather beat him a little bit, but it wasn't really that bad. You know, he had
I like how
money,
you
went to
undercut
school.
that. Oh, it's not too bad. You just got beat a little bit.
Compared to how Ed Gein was raised. His dad was, they're all alcoholics for some reason, but his dad was an alcoholic, could not keep a job, literally would drink whiskey. It was all whiskey. Hello. But he was drinking. And he ended up having heart failure and died early, right? Well, no one really cared. His mom, Augusta, hated the dad because he was a worthless, weak piece of shit. And that's probably quoting her, to be honest. But the crazy thing about Augusta is she was very, very, very by the Bible Christian, but not in a regular way. She taught Ed and Henry that basically all people are bad. All people are going to go to hell. She never let the boys have friends at school. She said they could not make friends. When they weren't at school or anywhere they needed to be with her, they were locked inside the house. She also told Ed and Henry that all women were, and I quote, loose, aka every woman was a whore. So, but her, because she had the right faith, she went by the Bible. Every single day she would open the Bible and read it to them, right? Or a passage, you know, whatever. So they thought, oh my gosh, mom is basically a goddess. Mom is queen. All these other women are whores. All these other men and kids and people are bad. They're all going to hell. And that's how they were raised. And she believed this shit. She wasn't just doing this to raise them to be crazy. She believed that all of her beliefs were exactly right, you know? And so it brainwashed them. I mean, think about it, man. Like, she didn't beat them or she didn't sexually assault them. She literally taught them the ways of the Bible, but also like the ways of hell. You know what I mean? So that's pretty fucked up, if you ask me.
It goes to show you, and no pun intended, where Christianity takes you. Cheers.
What do you mean by that?
How many of these guys had the overbearing mother with the forced Christianity, the forced by the Bible, and they all fucking just break? They all just break.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is there was that. You add that to her also saying everyone else besides me and you two are going to hell. They're pieces of shit, and stopping them from being social with other kids, having girlfriends, having best friends to play ball with in the front yard on their farm.
But playing devil's advocate, do you think she had the foresight to know what he was going to become? Did she have the thought process? Or did she think that, again, falling back to what episode 2, perception, right? What was her perception? Was it an evil perception?
Her perception was that she was right.
Right.
Her perception, she was right. She wanted Ed and Henry to grow up being the exact same way as her. She didn't think that they would grow up to be what Ed is. You know what I mean? But Ed saw his mother as such a powerful woman. And like I said, a goddess, a queen, that he ended up falling in love with her as a child, you know, like in that kind of way. Hence Psycho, Norman Bates. Hello. You guys are starting to get
Jason bells too.
Jason, Friday the 13th, exactly, which copied Psycho, not copied, but was based off Psycho, which was based off Ed Gein. We'll get into pop culture in a minute, but I want to continue how Ed Gein was raised. So his life was pretty crazy.
So hold on.
So
let me recap. See if I got it so far. Let me recap. Dad piece shit, alky, heart attack, done.
Mm-hmm.
Mom
done in their 30s.
Okay. Mom could give. How old was Ed when his dad died?
And they were in their early 30s. Him and his brother were in his early 30s. So dad was alive in their childhood and stuff.
Right. Just a piece of shit. So dad dies. Nobody gives a fuck. All the while he's drunk over here. Mom's saying, "Hey, I'm the way. I'm the right way. All this shit over here is just bad." Kind of like that water boy, you know, that whole like, you know, it's the devil. That type of shit.
It's the devil. Football's for the devil. Oh no, foosball.
Yeah.
I used to love that movie. Still do.
That's awful. Adam Sandler sucks.
Wow, you hate him that much. I know people who don't like Adam Sandler.
He's not good enough to be a nipple belt. Sorry.
He's not good enough to wear a nipple belt. Or a kumquat.
Or make one. Kumquats. Do them. Eat them.
Guys,
Whatever the fuck it
kumquats are
is.
actually a type of fruit. Like you guys should look them up. It's pretty interesting. So I don't know why I just said that. I honestly this drink's pretty strong already. I haven't even drank that much.
Before you jump back into Ed Gein, because I know you're gonna jump back into him.
That's fucking disgusting.
You're the one who took it there, you sick fuck. Anyway, how'd you drink, Matt? How'd you drink?
Oh, my drink's good. It's really not that far gone, but like you saw how much whiskey I poured in it. I mean, it was solid, 2 to 3 shots.
Solid.
So
I'm slowly making a dent.
Oh yeah, see, you're about where I'm at. Yeah,
I'm starting to feel a little bit too. So this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm starting to feel a little bit too. Feels good, nice and loose. Not in this tight.
It feels like that first time you put on a nipple belt.
I've never put one on. Have you?
Twice.
You are legitimately messed up.
My therapist thinks the same thing.
Okay, well, fuck. Your therapist thinks so. I think so. You might want to check yourself, brah.
It's called meds, man. Come on now. Fuck you.
True.
I'm gonna have Zoloft in me to make Ed Gein see things normally. So like, let's be real.
Ooh, I don't know. You probably have to OD on that shit before he sees straight.
No
Speaking
shit.
of Ed Gein seeing straight,
I love my mommy.
Literally
weirdo, dude. That's some weird shit.
Man. I mean, he was obviously eventually, we'll get into that. But he was diagnosed mentally challenged, if you will. So
question, did they ever have a legit diagnosis?
Yes. Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Well, may I ask
right?
what it is? Did you
I don't know. No, I didn't. It's a few words that I kind of skimmed through, but I did see that they officially diagnosed him. Okay. But okay, so getting pretty interesting. So his dad dies in his early 30s, or when Ed was in his early 30s. So this was like 1945, right? No big deal. No one really cared in his family because his dad, again, wasn't really there. He was just drunk all the time. So what really started Ed on the track of being nuts is his farmhouse caught on fire. But the thing is, his brother's body was found dead in the woods behind the house. And his brother had a big old gash, if you will, in the back of his head. Ed Gein took a rock and beat the shit out of his brother. So authorities found his brother because Ed told him that he died from the fire. And they said, oh, yeah, we can tell. And he was or they said that he died from asphyxiation from the fire. Ed was never, ever, ever questioned about his brother's death. But he did it. And you know, the reason why he did it is kind of obvious, is because he wanted to be alone with his mom. He was in love with his mom, dude. I mean, it's so
fucked up. Like, to go Cain and Abel, though? Like.
Yes. I know. Yeah. So there he is, alone with his mother now. He got what he wanted, right? His mom ended up having a stroke after like a year or two. So it's funny because I've seen the show Bates Motel, and it's really creepy how well they did that show with Ed Gein's storyline, with Psycho's storyline. It's creepy. But anyways, had a stroke, so he had to take care of her in bed for a while. She got better. But then she had another stroke like right after. So he was only with her alone for about 2 to 3 years. And that is when Ed Gein really, really, really turned into what he became. It wasn't killing his brother. It wasn't his dad's death. It was his mom's death, which is obvious. What do you think he did right after his mom died?
Tell me he didn't pull a Zeus. Did he put his dick in it?
No, he didn't put his dick in it. Well, he could have. There's a lot of questions about what he did. But he ended up.
Okay, but what answers do we have about what he did?
Well, that's when he became psycho. No pun intended. So basically what he turned into was going to these cemeteries, especially this certain one. Ironically, he's buried in the same one. And he would watch funerals. And he had to make sure they were heavier set women because that's what his mom was. And after the funeral was done, he would literally go in that night and dig up the body. And that's what he did. And he did tens and tens of bodies. And that's when he would take them back and he would do his work, whatever, make a nipple belt, make a chair, whatever the hell.
So you have something like Ed Gein, and it's funny because we were just talking about this earlier today. The idea of having something you love so much, right? I mean, that was his mom. His mom was that thing that he loved so much that everything thereafter had to be modeled over. I mean, I remember reading stories as a kid that he found a woman and basically taxidermied her body and laid her in his bed so he could cuddle with her at night. You know, he was so fucking just distraught at that idea of losing what he loved that it broke him. I mean, we know people like that with our trials and our tribulations that should we go through. But to break at that level, man, to break at that level where now you have to go out and everything you do has to be some piece of that.
It's an obsession.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then like I was getting at is he ended up robbing graves and doing what you just said, plus more to all these female bodies. He ended up killing. I mean, obviously why he's a serial killer. His first victim, Mary Hogan, was a tavern owner who he knew and knew him very well. And it wasn't a very planned or set up murder. He walked into this tavern and went, bop, 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 and shot her, dragged her out into the snow. Because I remember this is like, as in I remember the date, it was in December in Wisconsin. So freezing snow, dragged her out into the snow all the way to his fucking house and did what did it say? I forget what the list said. You guys can go back into, but yeah, he like made her body into a suit. And what he did was he literally wore her body and he would go out into the moonlight on his farm and start dancing. You know, like the Joker dance in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, like when he's going down the stairs, like that's what this motherfucker was doing, but in a lady's suit.
Which brings in another piece of pop culture that we'll talk about in a minute. Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, and he did the same thing. Wasn't he the one in the movie who started dancing and stuff at the end to the music? How creepy. Yeah, Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, I can't wait to get into pop culture with this.
It's funny because lore-wise, right? So like back in the day, and this shows that psychosis he was dealing with, because you go back to the werewolves and vampires, people would kill animals and don their skins and then think that would turn them into that thing. So it's like, okay, was he just freaky and psychotic and just kind of dancing around being a weirdo, or was he trying to bring his mom back? Like, it makes you wonder, like, what he was actually trying to do in that. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's what a good reference. Because he, at the end of the day, he told the cops, I did this because I wanted to be a woman so bad. And clearly he wanted to be his mom, but he told them I want to be a woman so bad. So just like you said, what if he did this, danced around because he thought it would turn him into a woman? He literally said, and I quote, I wanted to see how it felt to have a vagina. That's what he told the cops. I mean, this guy was that delusional and sick in the mind. And then 3 years after he killed Mary, it was Bernice Warden who owned the shop, the little grocery store, I guess you could say. And this is actually how he got caught too. So he went in and bought whatever. I think it was like antifreeze or some shit. And he popped her right then and there, did the same thing, dragged her ass out into the snow. Again, this was almost to the date 3 years later than his first kill. And the receipt was left. That's how he got caught. So he did the same thing with her. And she's the one who was hung up in his barn. So what happened was the lady, Bernice, her son was the chief of police. And he's the one who went in, found blood on the floor in the store and was like, what is this? Found the receipt and then went to the place, found out everything. And he was the one, poor guy. He was the one who walked into Ed Gein's barn and he bumped into what he thought was a deer hanging, ready obviously for meat, just hanging there. And he found out that it was a human being. It was a female and she was gutted completely. Her whole middle was sliced open and her feet were off, or it was her knees were off. And then he realized it was his mother. Like, how fucked up?
It doesn't get much worse than that, man. Like I can't think of any instance in time from like a child to a parent standpoint than finding your own mother fucking filleted. Like there, typically this is where I'd be trying to drop a funny line to make shit, you know what I mean? But like you can't say anything to that because that just shows you the kind of fucking mentality these dudes have. We were just talking today about like the differences in serial killers and what we remember from kids and you know the Bundys and the happy face killers and all that type of shit. And the reason why we went with Gein wasn't because of his kill count. It was because of how fucking sadistic and just wrong this dude was.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably the most disturbing story that I read about Ed Gein. But anyway, so here's what ended up happening. Obviously, Ed Gein confessed to both those murders, but the reason he confessed to the second one, to Bernice, the sheriff, aka her son, beat Ed Gein's head into a brick wall until he confessed. Beat his head into a brick wall until he confessed. Ed Gein was completely fucked up on the left side of his face, and he confessed. That, ladies and gentlemen, I know what's going on in this world, but that has every single right to it, in my opinion. If he didn't do that, I would have questioned that sheriff. Like, he had every right to do that. Just saying.
You know,
I
yes
would have done
and
the
no.
same thing.
Yes and no.
Why
I mean,
no?
personal beliefs aside, being an officer, this talks about the climate of the world. I mean, clearly we know that the fucking world is a shit show right now. But when you don a badge, it doesn't matter who you come across, family, loved ones, children. You're there to uphold the law, not become the law. And that
But
view,
you're also a human being.
Yeah.
And you found your mother, just like you said, there's nothing worse. You're telling me that he didn't have a right to do what he
no,
did.
I'm telling you,
as a human being, screw the badge.
Here's what I'll tell you. As a parent and as a child, I grew up a child. I didn't come out with this awesome beard. I didn't come out born with these tattoos.
Yeah, you did.
I was at one point a child. I'd have killed him. I didn't even talk to my mom. I'd have killed him. If I was that sheriff, I would have fucking killed him. I would have gutted him like a fucking fish. Now, in that's not the right way to react. The justice system serves its purpose and is supposed to be able to render all that shit. I know how broken it is. I've watched law abiding citizen, and I know. But what I'm saying is that I would have done worse.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. He had every right to at least beat the dude's head in.
I would have made sure that motherfucker had a vagina.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the sheriff could have done more, and I still would have been like, okay, you know, I get it, man. I get it. The law, you were the bat. Like, I get it. You're chief of police. I get it, dude. But like, it's the worst thing that can happen to you as a human being is seeing a family member, let alone your own mother. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, so there you go. There's Ed Gein for you. So he actually didn't end up going to jail, Califf, because like we said earlier, he was too mentally ill to stand trial for 10 years. So he was sent to Central State Hospital in Wisconsin. And there, you know what's creepy about that is, and this happens to a lot of serial killers. A lot of times they're charming, they're nice, and all this and all that. So you're like, oh, how could they do something like that? Well, that's what he was like at that state hospital. For those 10 years before trial, he was very nice. He helped people out the whole time. He showed no signs of doing what he did or any of that for 10 years. And then obviously after that, he was fit to stand trial and he was found guilty for both murders. But that's the thing is he only killed 2 people on record. He obviously killed his brother. But being a serial killer, what's the number, Califf? 3? 3 kills? He ended up probably, and this isn't a fact, but they had a lot of missing persons cases in that whole town of Plainfield, Wisconsin, while he was at large. And there were like 2 teenage boys and there was like a couple teenage girls, bigger women too. So people are saying he probably killed closer to like double digits, 10 plus, maybe 20. Because they did end up finding 2 of those missing girls' body parts in his house. And it's like, I mean, I guess they could have had an accident or been killed. You know what I mean? And he could have been like, oh, there's their body, But if he already killed 2 people and it's that small of a town, come on. You know what I mean? So that's why
if you think about it, the dude had to beat the confession of the other fucking person out of him. So he probably wasn't going to be saying shit regardless. Like at all, fucking all. So I mean, that's the thing with any serial killer. You have to. It all comes down to that. Okay, we've got this many confirmed, but like we talked about the Green River. We talked about this when we were talking about H.H. Holmes. Same with H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes. Mm-hmm.
You have this many confirmed, but the general consensus, like H.H. Holmes, he killed 8 people?
Oh yeah, it was like 9 or something.
Yeah, but it was somewhere between 9 and 2.
Oh well, technically, 100. Sorry. H.H. Holmes was 27. Jesus.
Yeah. 27, but presumably 200. That's a large margin for error.
That's a lot of exactly. So now that you guys know about Ed Gein, if you didn't know about him, how absolutely fucked up he was, now you guys know why pop culture has taken this guy and made him into so many characters. Califf, let's talk about the characters. The first ever.
You can start. Yeah. Slasher.
Start with it.
Yeah. Psycho. I mean, Norman Bates, the story of Norman Bates, like you said, runs literally hand in hand with the story of Ed Gein. Okay. You've got Hannibal Lecter. Well, not so much Hannibal Lecter, but Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. Okay. The idea of wearing skin, wanting to be a woman, all that type of stuff. That falls into play. You've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the idea of wearing skin masks, so forth, so on.
1974.
You've got Jason, who has all the mama issues. I mean, for those of you who watch shitty horror films, you've got Jason. Some can attribute Halloween to that. Some can attribute a lot of those things.
Yeah.
But you have to understand the foundation of the slasher genre, right, is built on the foundation of specifically Ed Gein because of the shit he did. Some of your most iconic people in horror, those characters are based off of just a small part of the shit he did. Plus, Zombie had a couple essentially that were still that.
House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. I mean, if you guys think about all of these movies that have these weird, crazy country houses or whatever, where people have like human remains and stuff, that idea came from Ed Gein. Cannibalism, Ed Gein. Necrophiliism. Is that how you say it?
Necrophilia.
Necrophilia. There you go. Ed Gein. You know what I mean? And he said, okay, here's another interesting fact about Ed Gein. They assumed that he was a necrophiliac, but he said that he didn't have sex with the dead bodies because they smelt too bad. Which everybody called bullshit, but that's what Ed Gein said. Yeah. Oh, he was. There's no way he didn't. No way he didn't. He wasn't getting it anywhere else.
Maybe he was fucking his box of boxes.
That's true. He could have been fucking his box of boxes.
Rubbing his little nipple bell and his little pee-pee. We don't know.
That's good. He's definitely a shower.
He doesn't seem he doesn't seem like one. He definitely doesn't seem like one that would tell the truth right out the gate. That's for fucking sure. Because
I don't think,
think about it too.
Yeah.
If he did, who's he gonna let down?
Right. His mama.
Yep.
Well, and think about it too. He's mentally ill. So, his IQ's not all the way up there as well. So, he's not this Ted Bundy, H.H. Holmes, where they're super, super intelligent and manipulative and know how to, work their way through the system and stuff. I mean, he literally is mentally ill.
When World of Warcraft players commit murder, Ed Gein.
You were just on those people, aren't you?
I'm on you all fucking day.
Okay, Ed Gein.
No shit, right? I'm gonna make a nipple belt with World of Warcraft players. Like no, fuck no.
God.
But like, what it boils down to me with this fucking guy. Oh, homeboy was essentially a carpenter with human skin, and as weird and grotesque as that is, I mean, it's kind of art in a weird, fucked up way. Dare I say it? It's macabre.
I mean, it is
art.
Yeah.
But the thing you have to think about is that this fucking dude nothing was going on up there. Like he's just like fucking fulfilling this impulse to be whatever the fuck it was he was trying to be. And what makes him so fascinating was just how, like, dare I use the word good, he got at doing this. Skilled.
I mean, well, that's the thing, man. Just because, I mean, it's it is probably the darkest stuff you can do. You know what I mean? It definitely is. But just because it's that dark doesn't mean it's not art. It doesn't mean it's not skilled. And I don't want to use the word impressive like in a positive way, like, oh, good job, guy. But it's impressive. You see what I mean? But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fucked up. But I'm just saying, like, when it all comes down to it, it really is. And like you said, that's why he's so fascinating, Califf.
What scares me though is like he went to like that primal fucking side of the psyche, man. Like where everything you do is built off of impulse versus rational thought and rational means. Well, I'm drunk and actually really carrying myself fucking well right now. I love it.
I'm drunk too.
Anyway. Anyway. But like to think about that and the essence that he fucking fell to that primal fucking spot in his head and was able to do so many things and literally get away with multiple murders, only charged for fucking 2, although he clearly committed more. He was a skilled craftsman in his trade. As fucking gross as that is, and as gross as that sounds and feels, it's the truth.
It's crazy.
So,
and
last call. No.
Wait. I got to tell you how what ended up happening.
Oh,
to
his
him.
disposition. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So he was guilty, but he still didn't go to jail. He ended up going to another mental hospital to live until he was 77 years old, and he died of lung cancer. Can you believe that? A guy who did stuff like that lived to be 77 years old. He died in 1984. That's like not even that long ago. It kind of is, but not really. That's the 80s.
That's 2 years before I was born, you dick.
Like I said, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, with that shitty grin on your face. That shitty.
Well, it feels like a long time ago because 2020 feels like it was 10 fucking years, bro.
That's true. I mean, I lost all my hair in fucking 2020. So, fucking, let's be real here. All right, so last call here at Booz and Bros. Last call. So, in last call tradition, I have a question for you, Matt Lytle.
Yes. Go. I'm nervous for this one.
You are that sheriff. What do you do? Not you're him. You are Matt Lytle. And you walk into all this shit. So it's not your mom, none of that stuff. But you walk into
not my mom?
No, you're Matt Lytle in his shoes. What do you do?
Oh, so it is my mom in the barn.
No, fuck no. I like your mom. You're the one. You as Matt Lytle.
Yes.
Are the one that shows up at his house. And you're the first responder. You're the first cop there. What do you do?
Honestly, man, like as Matt Lytle, as like an empathic as fuck person. I've never called myself that, but an empathic as fuck person, I would probably walk in there and just feel, I wouldn't even have to look around, man. I would just feel how gross and messed up that whole house is. I probably wouldn't touch anything. I'd wear a mask. This is the time, right? Like it's not 2021, so I don't have to wear a mask. I'd put on a mask, put on gloves. I don't know, man. I would feel that I would puke. And that's the story. All the cops who showed up first puked in the house. And that's what I would do. But I'd have to do my job and I'd have to go through everything. But it'd probably be the most disturbing thing ever. One of the cops actually went home and he ended up having heart failure because he was so disturbed, and he died like a year after. That's how disturbing it was.
See, for me, 3 words. I would end it as it began. I'd burn it down.
That is good thinking.
I would much rather people think that their family members are lost rather than have to walk in and see them fucking get flayed and turn upside down like a fucking deer. I would burn it all down with him in the fucking house with his nipple belt shoved 6 nipples deep up his asshole. I don't know what's up with me. I don't know what's up with me.
You obviously thought of that question more than I did, huh?
No, that's all spit. That's fucking top of my dome. That's what happens when you drink Tito's.
Yeah. When you drink whiskey, I don't know. You would think when you drink whiskey, you think violence.
You puke like a bitch.
That is so fucking true. Is it send time? I don't know if I can send this. Are we sending it?
Do it.
All right, everybody.
Come on, open that throat, brother. Open it.
God damn it.
In true Booze and Bros tradition, we want to say thank you very much for tuning into another episode of Booze and Bros. If you feel like killing somebody and turning their skull into a fucking bowl, go seek immediate mental help. Yeah, that. Don't do it. Things like boxes and boxes. Things like fucking nipple belt. Well, nipple belts move as a side. Nipple belts are pretty cool. But boxes and boxes. Fucking lampshades made of human skin. Lady pants that are actually pants made from ladies. Don't do it. This has been The More You Know from Califf.
Yeah. I'm kind of drunk, so I'm just going to close it out by saying thank you guys for listening. This hopefully is the most disturbing podcast we've had so far. We're going to get even more disturbing as we go on with Booze and Bros. Winter kills. Califf, I'm out, man.
Winter kill. Is that K? Is that a K in there?
No. K is like, what's K? Like that? I don't know. I'm out.
That looks
later, guys.
Look, it looks like a pee-pee.
Later, guys.
Anyway, thank you for tuning to Booze and Bros. #butt stuff. Have a good one.